Minister Isaacman, first off, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. You've made your trip here to NASA Glenn. Before you were nominated, before confirmation and everything, what did you know about NASA Glenn?
Oh, so I mean, I was very familiar with NASA Glenn. I mean, I've been in the aerospace industry for a very long time, been a pilot for a very long time. I happen to be a champion of nuclear power and propulsion, so you can't really like write op-eds on the importance of nuclear power and propulsion and not have a great appreciation for the work that's done here at Glenn.
How has this trip changed at all of what you've thought of NASA Glenn?
Well, I don't think anything has changed. It's just reinforced the importance. I mean, we were watching 12 kilowatt power, Hall thruster demonstration in the prior chamber. You can't do that anywhere else other than here at Glenn. And that's the kind of capability that's going to enable nuclear propulsion in space. So from my perspective, I always had a great appreciation for the work that's done here. But it's always good. Seeing is believing, seeing the hardware. It just gets me that much more excited about what we can do.
Last year, NASA made the announcement that NASA Glenn was going to be spearheading the development of nuclear power and development on the moon. How important is that going forward?
Well, it's incredibly important, not just, so fission surface power is very important for what we want to do on the moon. I mean, the president signed a national space policy that said we need to return to the moon and stay, building the infrastructure necessary to realize its, scientific and economic potential. The only way you're going to really do the kind of in situ resource manufacturing and refining at scale is going to be with nuclear power. But you're going to need to do the exact same thing on Mars someday. So this is going to, the moon is going to become a test environment for us for the capabilities that will be necessary to someday embark on a human mission to Mars and back. So nuclear power on the moon, we're going to need nuclear power on Mars. In situ resource manufacturing, not as necessary for missions to and from the moon, but absolutely is for Mars. So the moon is an ideal environment to test it in. So this is fundamental to our whole, American leadership in space strategy.
How close are we to Mars? How far out is Mars when you bring this up?
I mean, first of all, it's very achievable in our lifetime. If I had to guess, not before 10 years, not after 20 years.
You think 10 to 20 years, we could have some sort of presence on Mars as far as getting there?
For sure. No, not just getting there. We could get there far sooner than that. It's the whole coming home part that's the challenge.
Yeah.
So if you think about it this way, the velocity necessary to send mass to the moon is very comparable to what's required to send mass to Mars. I mean, we have to escape Earth's gravitational influence to send lots of mass to the moon or Mars. Now, the commercial providers we've partnered with on the Artemis program, SpaceX and Blue Origin, they're pioneering rapid reusability of heavy lift. So when they are successful getting our lunar lander to the lunar environment, they now have the capability to send that type of mass to Mars. So we are paralleling efforts here. When Glenn works on nuclear power and propulsion and fission power, that same capability is going to be applicable to Mars. So people may not realize it, but we are paralleling efforts to get to Mars. Now, a lot of activity is going to happen on the moon first, and rightfully so, because it's only a couple days home from there. But we're dual tracking this.
I was about to say, when you look at the moon, we have Artemis 2 right around the corner. Do you see Americans on the moon by 2028?
I do. I think we will achieve Artemis 3 before the end of 2028. And most importantly, we are setting up for what I hope to be dozens of missions to follow. So Apollo ended at 17. Artemis should live on to 100 and beyond. So, we are starting in kind of a complex and relatively costly path back to the moon because it's hard. We haven't been there in more than a half century, but we've engineered into the Artemis plan the ability to on-ramp commercial providers that can gradually reduce the cost and increase the frequency of returning to the moon. So we will get there, in the next couple of years, no doubt, but most importantly, we'll have a pathway thereafter to undertake frequent, affordable missions to the lunar environment.
For the average American, what do you want them to take away as the value of NASA when we are looking at the Mars and we're looking at the moon?
So NASA, we were established to do the near impossible in air and space. America will always need NASA. The world will need NASA. I mean, we have the most inspiring mission imaginable. We are going out and trying to unlock the secrets of the universe. Now, along the way, what we find can have a meaningful benefit back here on Earth. When we go to the moon, sure, we are doing it to fulfill a promise that was made more than 35 years ago. We spent $100 billion in taxpayer money over that time period to do it. We owe it to the American people. We owe it to all of the pioneers in the 1960s who've given us the foundation to undertake this today. But when we get there and we stay, like we are going to mine resources there. We can extract helium-3 that has applications in quantum computing. It has applications in fusion power. What could completely change the energy landscape here on Earth. Like this is game-changing stuff, and it's only possible because of what we pursue in space. So this is NASA at its best. Like when we are undertaking the near impossible, and when we do, we change the world back here at home.
When the people of Northeast Ohio see this story, what do you want them to take away from it?
Oh, well, I would just say for all of the people here in the the vicinity of Glenn, I mean, know that the workforce that's showing up here every single day is literally changing the world. I mean, what we are doing with nuclear power and propulsion is going to power humanity's next giant leap among the stars. Again, not just what we're doing at the moon or Mars someday. Our ability to explore, the outer planets in our solar system directly depends on the work that's happening here at Glenn with nuclear power.
When you look at the workforce here at NASA, Glenn, obviously last year was a tougher year. There's about 600 fewer people working here now that were a year ago. What do you take away from that kind of loss?
Well, I think 2025 was a different year. 2026 is a brand new year, right? And, what's different now than was then? Well, I'll tell you, we have a national space policy, right? So the President of the United States signed an executive order the same day I was sworn in as the 15th administrator of NASA, that said, make investments in the next giant leap capabilities to enable Americans to plant the stars and stripe on Mars, make investments in nuclear power and propulsion. Now, a lot of that happens right here. So, acknowledge 2025 was a different year. 2026, I think right now we are absolutely embarking on a second space age, and a lot of that activity is going to take place at Glenn.
Do you see any scenario where some or any of those people are brought back or those jobs are filled?
So we always need the best and brightest from around the nation to contribute to NASA's world-changing mission, no doubt. OPM is so Office of Personnel Management is igniting a new hiring program for all the most important technological domains, including space. So we're partnering with them on that. So again, what's different now than it was last year? We have a national space policy that says we need to do a lot of important things. The president says return to the moon, build a moon base, invest in nuclear power and propulsion, create a $50 billion orbital economy, and launch more missions of science and discovery. Of course, that's going to require talent to do so.
Last year, there was a lot of conversation about NASA's headquarters and the future of that. Is it still, do you think, long-term set in Washington, D.C.?
I do. So I'll tell you, when I came into this role, it was filled with a lot of opportunities and a lot of challenges. I mean, we have the ability right now to really undertake world-changing science and discovery. That's my overarching priority. It takes the contributions of many in order to do that, and we don't all agree. So what's a good place, for us to arrive at, some common ground? I think it's in our nation's capital. So I suspect the headquarters will stay there. Honestly, it is kind of one of the lowest priorities on my list. I'd much rather be here and in the fields at all the various centers working on the mission.
Finally here, Artemis 2, hopefully right around the corner.
Right.
What do you want people to take away when that rocket is going up?
It is just the opening episode in an extraordinary adventure. So for sure, Artemis 2, right around the corner, we are going to send NASA astronauts farther into space than we've ever sent humans before on a 10-day mission. We're going to return to the lunar environment, back around the moon, safely here to Earth. We're going to put our Orion spacecraft through all of its paces. So really stress test the vehicle in preparation for Artemis 3. We're going to return to the moon, Artemis 4, 5, to Artemis 100 and beyond. So this is an opportunity for NASA to captivate the world's attention, but it's just the beginning.
Are we in a space race right now?
We are. We absolutely are. President Trump certainly appreciates, the security implications of the ultimate high ground of space. This is the president that created the Space Force. This is the president who created the Artemis program under his first term that even called for America's return to the moon. This is the president who created a national space policy that not only called for the return of the moon, but now to build the lunar base and realize its full potential. So we are absolutely in a race. The high ground has always mattered, but just like our past, I think we are at our best when these kind of competitive juices are flowing, and we're just not going to lose.
Is there anything else you want to add?
It's absolutely grateful to be here. I'm enjoying every bit of it. I mean, for somebody, again, who's pretty passionate about nuclear power and propulsion, couldn't ask for a better center to visit.